If you've ever driven to South Lake Tahoe on Highway 50, you may have passed Phillips Station. It's a historic site that could be in the line of fire, depending, of course, on the winds. It's also where surveyors encountered another ominous measure of the drought that is fueling California's wildfires.
This isn't the first time our family has been in the line of fire, honestly.
Abby Pearson is the last in a long line of women to call Phillips Station home. Right along this line, this is where it happens.
This is where it happens. Yeah.
It's where every winter, one of California's most important monthly snowpack surveys takes place. In April, recording just 59% of the yearly average. It's a measure of the drought helping to fuel the wildfires now closing in on her homestead. But despite the evacuation warning,
I have chosen not to leave my home because this is where my roots are.
It's making its way with that wind, taking a run up the slope towards the ridge line here.
West on Highway 50, Cal Fire escorts us to the head of the fire in El Dorado National Forest. It's rugged canyons dotted with huge trees parched from drought. The Caldor Fire climbs them like a ladder with a push from the wind. At these elevations, the winds can shift quickly. We've seen gusts of up to 35 miles per hour, making the fires very hard to predict.
Very unpredictable, as we've seen this year, especially with the conditions we have. This is very unpredictable fire behavior.
Let's go. Get out of here. A sudden wind change at the top. Our caravan forced to turn back quickly.
We're trying to do our best we can to get people access to document this story, and as we're in this area, the fire made a big run right near where we were.
And if it comes this way, back to Phillips Station, Pearson says she has a plan. Propane tanks off, sprinklers on. The truck is already loaded.
You let whomever tells you to go escort you out, and you make peace with what was your home and what you may or may not come back to.
And if the fire does make its way here from that direction, we believe it all, of course, depends on the wind. This will be not the first time for tragedy to strike here at Phillips Station. Just a few short years ago, we're standing now on the foundation of where a home was destroyed in 2019. We're on the road to Sierra Tahoe, where you can normally see for miles at this outlook point. Right now, just that heavy haze of smoke. We're seeing so much ash falling, it almost looks like snowflakes. But up the road, you talk to the folks inside this beloved ski resort, and they say that they are prepared for whatever comes.
No, there's a lot of love for this resort, and I know that a lot of people are going to fight real hard to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Thinking about the worst case scenario for the slopes and lodges at the time-honored Sierra Tahoe Resort. Only a handful of Cal Fire officials and sheriff's deputies here to get the word out. This place is in the red zone. Mandatory evacuation.
Be here till they tell me to get out.
General Manager John Rice says most of the employees are long gone. From a mountaintop alert cam, you can see little more than smoke. It's just as heavy on the ground.
Right there, that's the top of Huckleberry Peak.
As a Lake Valley Fire District board member, Rice has had access to the command center in Placerville.
Just about every other person taps me on the shoulder and says, I learned how to ski there, or I have a pass there. So a guy yesterday was wearing a Sierra Tahoe face mask.
It's a great place to have this close to our home.
Evacuations happening at the base of the mountain too. James McLaughlin strapping in some of his vehicles and watering down his home one last time before getting out of Dodge.
I feel for all the people that are out there in the parking lots just waiting to see if their house is going to be there, and a lot of them know that it's not.
I just got to hope that she's going to be okay.
This man is a retired Seattle firefighter near the evacuation lines, helping homeowners secure their houses. I can see you're working hard. I see the sawdust on your hat.
Yeah, just, trimming trees with what you got.
Meanwhile, back at Sierra Tahoe, there's hope that the parking lots and slopes will act as a natural fire break.
We've done just about everything we can do. It would be as prepared as we can be.
El Dorado Beach would normally be teeming with tourists this time of year. Right now, it's desolate. And for the people who live here year-round, the question of whether or not to leave right now is something that's hanging heavy in the air.
It is the cornerstone of South Lake Tahoe.
Bert's Cafe has served a hearty breakfast to the year-rounders for 20 years.
Well, we serve fabulous pancakes.
Bueno Kettleson says he's packed up and ready to depart if he has to. There's no evacuation warning for South Lake Tahoe, but it's something to talk about.
As long as I have my dogs in the car, I'm good to go, you know.
Connie and Cheryl.
I'm okay. I'm pretty comfortable with what they're doing.
They talk with firefighters in town they know.
They're like, if at all you feel scared and to the point, just get your stuff packed up and go. We'll save everything else.
The Caldor Fire burning near 39 Milestone on Highway 50. That's just 20 miles from South Lake Tahoe.
Less wind today, which is beneficial for us, and this inversion layer holding some of the heat down.
CAL FIRE says it's focused on structure protection and has containment lines and contingency plans in place to protect the Tahoe Basin. This is what we're seeing all along Highway 50. It's burning low and slow, but sending that constant, steady stream of smoke into the air.
Terrible, terrible.
It's awful. It's awful.
South Lake Tahoe Mayor Tamara Wallace urging calm, but with air quality like this,
Be prepared to leave if we need to. If you have any health issues, leave now if you can.
Enjoy.
As for Kettleson, some of his employees sensitive to the smoke have already packed up and left. If it comes time to leave Bert's Cafe behind,
There's a few things that are irreplaceable. I have an old baseball mitt that's got to go with me. You know, you can't get those 1940 mitts anymore.
and we have some really new developments to share with you just in the last hour or so from Strawberry. This is about 11 miles outside of the Tahoe Basin, and what started as a spot fire here behind the general store, we understand has now merged with a tactical defensive burning operation, which was actually being conducted by the El Carrizo Hotshots, working with the India Division. These are members of the U.S. Forest Service. We can actually see a number of them here lining the north side of Highway 50 here. Again, what they're doing here is trying to fight fire with fire, burning off some of these fuels, and it's burning a lot lower and slower, although from time to time we do see torching happening here behind the general store. Again, CAL FIRE telling us that they believe that they have a good shot at protecting this structure in this important juncture here in the fight to stop the Caldor Fire from making its way east into the Tahoe Basin.
It's almost clear skies out here compared to yesterday, so that's definitely a good thing.
Blue skies early Saturday morning bring a brief respite from the smoke and the opportunity for air support.
Tahoe's up here.
That changed by mid-afternoon, a deep orange haze over Strawberry.
We've seen an increase in our winds, so that's why we're seeing our fire activity on these ridges behind us increase as well.
Anything to be concerned about right here?
Not right here. No, we're closely monitoring the situation. As you can see, we have a ton of resources in Strawberry right now.
Crews still executing their plan to stop the Caldor Fire's march to the east. Bulldozers breaking up the fire's access to dry fuels like dead trees and brush.
The train's steep.
The section burning north of Highway 50 in what they call a slopover across the proposed highway containment line. Here we see the U.S. Forest Service monitoring a pretty active part of the fire. Surrounding this property, though, we see the ground is churned up. This is a dozer line meant to help protect this structure. Wrapping it in foil helps ward off radiant heat. The U.S. Forest Service says it could help the structure survive. The old, deep-rooted trees will likely live through this as long as they don't torch like these, visible from Strawberry Station.
This is the example of where a dozer can't go.
South of Highway 50, a hand crew cut this contingency line, pre-plumbed with fire hose.
We already have it staged, ready to go.
And you'll have firefighters right here.
There'll be firefighters every 100 feet.
And back in Strawberry.
It is alarming watching trees torch like we're seeing on the ridge tops, but it's nothing that the crews here aren't able to handle.
And now we're bringing you another look at the spot fire burning south of Highway 50. Again, it's not looking super active right now, but it's definitely something to watch. That's certainly east of the contingency line that we saw today with CAL FIRE, but what we don't know is if there are more along the way that will help slow the spread of this fire toward the Tahoe Basin. And we've heard some concerns about our safety being out here. I just want to reassure you, we have a straight shot along Highway 50 back to South Lake Tahoe. We are staying close to CAL FIRE's public information officers to bring this information to you. Yes, I'm standing on Highway 50. This is just around the corner from Echo Summit, which is a new staging area. They've been moving further and further east with the spread of the fire, previously at Sierra, at Tahoe. And I'll tell you, we had every intention of coming live from that location. We felt safe there. We were in a parking lot and a number of fire crews still there to provide defense when suddenly cell service went out. Cal Fire tells us that one of the cell towers burned down, and it's just an example of how quickly things are changing here on the ground. We saw a number of fires, spot fires growing on both sides of Highway 50 on the way out of here, and we have been here following this fire as it spread along that corridor from earlier this week.
I know it's approaching, and now it's knocking on the door, so.
John Rice welcoming reinforcements at his Sierra at Tahoe resort as the winds pick up and the Caldor Fire rolls east toward the Tahoe Basin.
I'm a lot more encouraged today because I can see and touch and feel these resources. Instead of knowing they might come, they're here.
But with fire becoming visible in the distance, the staging area moving further east to Echo Summit, firefighting crews remain to provide defense. Closer to Strawberry, fighting fire with fire. And will this come all the way down, tie in with Highway 50?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Hand tools make quick work of the dry fuels crammed around the trunks of these dead and hazardous trees.
And then as it was coming down, we were coming up with it, snuffs it out before it hits it down.
Members of the U.S. Forest Service we can actually see. Live on ABC 10, we watched Saturday night as the El Carrizo hotshots set this tactical burn to save the Strawberry General Store. And it looks like you were able to save all these structures on the north side.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, we did.
Seen gusts of up to 35 miles per hour. Wednesday, we met CAL FIRE Public Information Officer Stephen Horner.
Get out of here.
A sudden wind change at the top.
Almost exactly the same thing. Now that wind is picking up and you see the smoky conditions. It's starting to get a little bit darker now.
And as the skies grow darker over Sierra at Tahoe, hope against the wind.
I hope the winds don't do what they're predicted to do, and we can try to keep this place around for winter.
And Chris, I have to tell you, having been here since Wednesday, we have seen things that we definitely hope not to see in the last few days. In particular, the last few hours, things have been changing really fast. It's hard not to feel like we are entering a new phase in the fight against the Caldor Fire.